670 WOCA.
Ocala.
Ocala, baby, what makes you look so good? Ocala, baby, what makes you look so good? Why don't you love me like I know you could?
All right, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. It's time for Ocala Magazine Radio. If you're watching the streaming, you don't see the beautiful, effervescent Kelly Hart. Instead, you see the handsome Keith Chartrand, who I bonded with Keith, I think the first time we met. We have the Long Island thing in common, and just think he's one of the best writers that we've ever had in the studio, and from a journalistic point of view as well as from a writing point of view. So, Keith, good morning. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Larry, for having me. The idea of being one, handsome, and two, journalistic. I'm not,
You're a little shy. You're a little shy about that.
I'm a little shy and humble, but I appreciate the kind words and glad to be here filling in for Kelly as our latest edition of the magazine hits the streets in the next couple of days.
And so today's a special kind of a show because you have two halves. You have two pretty ladies coming in just a bit, right?
Yes, that is correct.
That's to make up for Kelly's absence.
That unequivocally, I'm not sure whether they will fill the void. Yes, we have Christy and Tammy from Hawthorne Estates talk about a really exciting effort for autism.
Nice, that's beautiful. Yeah. So how have you been?
I've been well, busy. I'm sure dancing in the humidity and the raindrops like everybody else has been. But
see, that's the writer in you. Nobody else would have said it that way.
I guess, after a while, sometimes people say, "Well, can't you just speak street or speak
street or straight
or just street? No, more street,
or
just
street.
Normal guy, as opposed to being quote a wordsmith or something of that nature." But hunting the street and getting excited. It's an exciting time of year. School's getting back in. Football starting.
Yeah. So what are your passions? I mean, do you like sports? Do you like music? I mean,
I'm a sports person by nature.
Do you read a lot? Wow, look at the porn. Do you read a lot? Books? I mean, do you read a lot of books?
I should have read more.
But you don't. Not a whole lot. Okay.
I am reading 2 books right now. Sometimes the writing and such get in the way. Dan Jenkins is one of the most spectacular sports writers in the last 50 years. He's written a semi-memoir, so I'm reading his book.
Oh, nice.
And although, yes, we discussed I am from Long Island. I'm in the minority. I'm a Mets fan, but I am reading a book called The Captain, which is a chronicle of Derek Jeter's career by ESPN.com columnist Ian O'Connor.
So the fact that you're a Mets fan is interesting to me because being from Long Island, everybody I knew on Long Island is a Mets fan. But everybody I knew is my age, which is 60-ish, okay?
Right.
And I didn't know, I have no idea what the climate is now, and you seem considerably younger than that, but Mets were pretty big on Long Island.
They were.
Yeah.
They were. Growing up, and when I was growing up, which dates me, and unfortunately it dates you, well, at least when I was growing up, they won the World Series in '86, and that was climactic as being a fan.
Isn't it interesting? Because when I was a kid, they won also. I don't remember what year, because I'm not a sports guy. But I remember everybody made a big deal, and so that would have been in the 60s. Does that sound right?
1969, that's correct.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
all right, so you have another topic you want to talk about?
Yes. As I mentioned, the latest edition of Ocala Magazine is out, and Luxury Listed is basically the big topic and our cover story. A look at all the luxuries that Ocala has.
Really?
Yet, specifically, what was agreed to talk about today was probably not a luxury that Ocala wants to inherit, but my opinion is it drives people's passion, and it's good that people aren't dormant and are keeping to themselves. And it's the topic that Ocala got national attention for, which was the Confederate flag. And
so did you interview anybody regarding the flag?
Sure. I attended the county commission meeting on the 21st, not the one on the 7th where the decision was made, which some people say was not only wrong, but there are voices in our community that are saying that it's unethical and illegal how that decision came about.
So when you write a story that is clearly, you're going to have an opinion one way or the other. Some people say, I don't care, but almost everybody has an opinion. But when you yourself, as a journalist, write a story with an opinion in your heart.
That's what you can't do.
That's what you can't do. And I know that about you. I know that you take
can't.
Journalism seriously.
No, you can't do that.
Okay.
A perfect example. You have got to, in this particular situation, toe the line right down the middle. And I've had friends that I went to college with and said, you need to do your research, do your homework, understand what both sides think.
Yeah.
And to the standpoint, you're going to have an opinion on it. I'm going to have an opinion.
Right.
So what I had to do was, okay, here's my opinion, but you know what? You need to get educated on what the other person thinks.
Absolutely.
That's opposite of my opinion.
Absolutely.
You have to do that.
That's the truth with everything.
Now, there was a book that I read. I didn't get through all of it, but it basically was the history of the Confederate flag, the most divisive symbol in our country's history. I wish I could have read all of it. I just didn't have time to meet the deadline. But it not only gives you a history of the many different types of flag that represented the Confederacy, but how it impacted lives and in the 1860s and what it's meant now.
So the article in the magazine that you wrote, do the readers, maybe you don't have enough feedback yet, but do you think the readers will come away after reading it with a changed thought on the flag? Do you think they'll be more educated than they might have been before reading it?
Passion is so embedded in this issue. Because of that, there's no way that this is actually going to, I don't think is going to change somebody's opinion. Now, it might open someone's eyes and said, I never thought about it that way.
Well,
believe me, there are two people in this article, Daphne Robinson Shaw and David Stone. They're both Ocala natives.
Are they opposed to each other?
No, they're opposed to each other's view.
Okay.
And there are solid, strong, passionate opinions on both sides of this issue.
Right.
That at least you would hope that if you are on one side of this issue, that having an open mind to actually listen.
To hear the other side.
Hear the other side.
Absolutely.
And so the representation of what the flag stands for, the way that I started the story off, is perception. And one man's perception, is truth, and another man's perception of something is complete fallacy. So that's what this shows to me in a broad sense, is that there are enough people in Ocala to stand up to say, this is what I believe, as opposed to just saying, you know what, I don't care, I'm gonna sit on my couch and just talk about the people in this issue, as opposed to actually saying, I'm banging my fist on the table, this is what I believe.
Symbols don't always have a concrete way to trace what they symbolize. The Nazi swastika has, for example, documented history, what it represents. So you can say, well, I'm against it because here's the documentation that shows what it's against.
Right.
The Confederate flag has the Confederate Constitution. If you read the Confederate Constitution, whether you agree with it or not, but that's what it represents. That's what that flag represents.
Right.
Everything else is just emotion.
Sure. During a commission meeting where over 50 people spoke their opinion about one Ocala graduate who graduated from Forest High School in the 50s was adamant about the comparisons between if there are comparisons out there, he was adamant between the Nazi, what it meant, and how completely ridiculous it was, in his opinion, to compare the Nazi swastika to the Confederate flag.
Wow.
And his
Well, then compare it to the American flag.
Right.
We have a Constitution behind that flag behind you as well.
But the passion that gentleman spoke with,
Right.
If I could have put 15 exclamation points, which you don't do when you're writing something, but his
only in Twitter.
Right, exactly. his emphasis and what he believed was so passionate that he actually had to. The commissioner actually asked him to step away from the microphone because it was so impassioned. It was almost so.
Really?
Yeah. So.
We take a break, and you have another part to this appearance today, and it's a totally different topic.
Yeah. We do have a totally different topic to chat about. It's about Alzheimer's, and this is a disease.
Autism, you mean?
No, it's Alzheimer's.
Oh, Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's,
okay.
not autism. It is a disease that actually, kind of crushes the older generation. But
Okay.
there are definitely positive aspects to certain things that are being done, especially what the ladies at Hawthorne Estates are doing.
All right, excellent. So we'll be right back with Keith Chartrand. The program is Ocala Magazine Radio. Keith's sitting in for Kelly Hart, and we'll be right back to talk about it. It's a campaign to raise money or awareness or both?
It's both, and we'll get into that with Christine Tammy.
Okay, we'll be right back with Ocala Magazine Radio and Keith Chartrand after this.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Sunshine mixing with clouds today with a thunderstorm or two in the area this afternoon and evening. The high today 88 at the coast, 93 inland, and partly cloudy overnight, low 72 to 76. Times of clouds and sun tomorrow with an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. The high 87 at the coast, 92 inland. On Saturday, clouds and sun with a couple of afternoon showers and thunderstorms, high 87 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
You've got a garden, and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Who doesn't love heading out on the boat with a family, hitting the ATV trails with friends, or blazing new stretches of highway with riding buddies? Your toys are your ticket to outdoor fun. At the McDonald Allstate Agency, we get to know you and help make sure you have all the right coverages. Plus, when you bundle your coverage for your car and your home with your boat, motorcycle, RV, or more, you can save up to 30%. So call the McDonald Allstate Agency today at 622-2333 or stop by one of our 2 Ocala locations at Calla Hills or the Jasmine Square Plaza.
Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary.
Hi, this is Brad. I want to take a moment to talk about a serious issue. In the next 5 years, the aviation industry is projected to have a shortage of commercial pilots. Now is the time to start training. Ocala Flying Club has started a scholarship for the youth of Marion County ages 17 to 24. The club will donate up to $4,000 towards a pilot's license. This will help get the student on their way to obtaining their commercial pilot license. If this sounds like something you would be interested in, or if you know someone that would be, please contact Ocala Aviation Services, 861-7484.
All right, just about 20 minutes after 10 o'clock, it was a beautiful morning all morning long. It's not that it's not beautiful anymore. It's just that it's raining, so it changes the dynamic of what we see outside the window. You're listening to the Ocala Magazine Radio portion of this Friday morning. Keith Chartrand is sitting in for Kelly Hart. Where's Kelly this morning?
Kelly's down in Orlando, as if people have picked up the magazine recently, they've known that the magazine just does such a great job in presentation and stories, and the Florida Magazine Association Awards are taking place today in Orlando.
Nice.
Kelly is down there representing the magazine,
Bringing
with,
back some awards.
other constituents, and perhaps bringing back some awards. We hope. As we mentioned, the latest edition of the magazine will be out on the streets in the next couple of days. Luxury listed is the main story.
Well, I'm looking forward to that article.
Oh, that's tremendous. That there's luxury.
Name one luxury we have here. Not that I don't know of them, but which one that strikes you, or maybe one you didn't realize.
I don't.
You don't need to shovel snow. Does that come up as a luxury?
That is a. That is a luxury that is not needed to. There's no dime that needs to be paid for that.
That's
and you
right.
don't have to scrape either. But so we were talking about the.
Can I tell you my thoughts on the
of
flag?
course.
Is it okay?
Because everybody does have an opinion on this.
I didn't have any feeling one way or the other about the flag, and I did exactly as you said. I listened to what people were saying for it and people were saying against it. Mm-hmm. And I suppose if you're going to decorate your truck or your car or your yard with the flag, gosh, who would want to take that right away from you? Mm-hmm. But in a political sense, if you are representing all of the people at a government complex, mm-hmm. then you have to think about it a little bit differently.
Correct.
And so in order to think about it accurately, mm-hmm. I went to the Confederate Constitution. And the Confederate Constitution reads very similarly to the U.S. Constitution.
Right.
The United States in whole had slavery, every single state. The Confederate, and it never mentioned it by name, though, never mentioned slavery by name. The Confederate Constitution, on the other hand, does. Mm-hmm. And while I don't have it in front of me to read verbatim, the Confederate Constitution specifically says that no law shall be made that takes away the right to own Negro slaves. So it clearly points out one race, clearly gives authority to anybody to own another human being because mm-hmm. of their race.
Right.
And that, to me, is a big issue. Now, the Confederacy was only around 4 years, so they didn't really have enough time to ratify that or to change the Constitution of their nation that they wanted to build. Mm-hmm. But that's what it represents. And since we have it in stone, we have to recognize that's what it was about.
Right.
That's what it was about. They could say all they want. They could say all they want that the northern states had slaves, and they're not wrong. They could say all they want that it was about states' rights, but it was about the states having a right to do exactly what that one passage says.
Let me play devil's advocate, because I'll play devil's advocate from the standpoint of one of the people quoted in the story, David Stone, who was actually in charge of the Ocala Pride Ride. Okay? That was 1860. And now what the flag represents to him is his heritage. And what he, again, this is just plain devil's advocate, not my opinion. Right. What he will say is this, is that just because the Ku Klux Klan adopted and grabbed that flag and they use it for what they use it for, that it's not a true representation of Southern heritage. Because, as he points out, what happened in Charleston is basically someone just grabs that flag and the KKK changed everybody's mindset because they see hate because they grabbed it as their representation. Devil's advocate.
I understand. So, I understand that half of the argument.
Yep.
It doesn't change what the Constitution said, though, in those days, and it doesn't erase the reason why some people would be opposed to it. And if you have people who are opposed to it, and there's nobody representing that side of it on the county commission, then there's an imbalance of representation.
What it does, again, overall, what it does is it just shows that representation is interpreted so many different ways, and the fact that in the magazine there's so many people that are passionate on one side or the other. I'm glad to see it, because what it does is it shows that the people of the county aren't just going to let people decide.
And the viewpoint of the country, of our area, based on that story, is so unfair, because it's not the Ocala I know. at the Ocala I know, I mean, there is no. I'm like, come on. I mean, we have black people and white people everywhere in my circles, in your circles, and
That's true.
And it doesn't even seem to
But
matter.
Unfortunately, it doesn't, and it's not the Ocala that I know either. But
Right.
unfortunately, perception and reality is two different things, and what the media can portray
Right.
is something completely different than what you and I know.
So how do you change channels? We have to go to these two
Well, I know,
lovely
do we
ladies.
need to do static like the needle off the record
Just-
type thing?
just
to
move the needle
change it
over, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So that, yeah.
Chris,
What a much easier topic to talk about. Although it's still detrimental, but yeah.
Christy Edwards and Tammy Slay are in the studio, and I guess I haven't met either one of these two ladies before. So nice to meet both of you.
Good morning.
And
nice to meet you.
Now we used to call it Hawthorne Village. Does it have a new name? Is it
It's
Hawthorne?
Hawthorne Village Retirement Community.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to get you to be a little bit louder. Go ahead. Try it now. Hawthorne Village Retirement Community.
Yes.
And you guys have expanded greatly. The buildings are plentiful, right? You have a new
Yes,
big
we
building.
have independent living, retirement apartments. We also have Hawthorne Health and Rehabilitation. We have Hawthorne Inn Assisted Living, and then we also have a secure Alzheimer's Memory Care neighborhood known as Garden Court.
And what is your title?
Director of Marketing and Sales.
Oh, okay. And Tammy, what is your title?
I'm the estates manager for the independent living area.
Okay, and so independent living would not be Alzheimer's, or am I wrong about that?
No, independent living is all month-to-month rentals for people who are active and independent, but they just don't want the upkeep anymore of a home.
Oh, I see. I see.
It's maintenance-free. We provide chef-prepared lunch and dinner buffet meals, housekeeping, take care of laundering the bed linens and that sort of thing.
Everybody in your profession is, in my mind, an angel. We had a relationship with Hawthorne Village forever, but in general, the larger picture, just the whole community of healthcare providers, is just such a wonderful position that you've decided to do and take. So with very little time, we need to promote something, and this is to help the folks with Alzheimer's?
Well, next Wednesday, August 12th, from 4 to 7 p.m., we're actually holding an art auction. It will be a live auction, and why it's really so special to us is because the individuals that have actually created the artwork have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Is that right?
So some of our residents from Garden Court have done paintings. We've really got the community involved with this, and a lot of assisted living facilities have also got their residents involved in
Did they create the artwork before they were diagnosed with Alzheimer's, or
they
since?
Actually since they've been diagnosed.
How incredible is that?
That is amazing.
about that.
Yeah. And so how did this come about? Is it paintings or sculptures or?
It's all different types of artwork. We have a rocking chair that was painted from one of the local assisted livings. We have one of the ladies from our Garden Court did a portrait of her son. We have chalk work, a lot of different.
Photography.
There's actually photography.
Photography. Do you know, I knew a lady with Alzheimer's, and she was asking me what time lunch is, like every 5 minutes. But she would sit down at the piano, and it was like there was nothing wrong at all. It was amazing.
That's what the ladies were talking about outside too. Is that there's a connection. Whereas you're saying they're not aware of certain things, but music and even a musical connection. I've noticed it's completely different, but I had just written something about autism and how much dance helps people with autism. So the fact that creative talents are still within the body,
The
even
soul of a
though
person, maybe,
they're
huh?
going through, Alzheimer's, dementia, or, another crippling disease.
So how do we help? What do? We show up at the auction, obviously.
Yes, the money that we raise is all going to the Alzheimer's Association. We will be selling tickets in advance for $5 each, or the tickets can be purchased at the door. We'll have a live auction and a silent auction. We also have wine and lots of appetizers and things.
That'll get it in the door. Okay. So do we call a phone number? Do we go to a website?
Yes, you can call our phone number, 352-237-7776, or you can stop by Hawthorne Estates, which is located at 3211 Southwest 42nd Street.
Christy, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
What we'll do is we'll take that and we'll make sure we continue to announce it. Tammy, you didn't get to say much, but thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for what you two have chosen to do with your life. And Keith, you're outstanding. Thank you for what you do.
Well, great to be here. Glad we could talk about things.
We'll be right back.
What makes you look so good?
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Many GOP presidential candidates taking shots at frontrunner Donald Trump.